Chat wanted to be horrified. It is time for animal facts that we should have left in 2024. Bam, 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 ba-da-da.
These saltwater crocodiles in Indonesia have apparently learned how to pretend to be drowning to lure humans in who they view as prey.
The what?
I'm gonna call this animal facts we should have left in 2024, because after this, I will not be speaking on this anymore. So this video went viral for obvious reasons.
For obvious reasons. I feel like I need a course in how to go viral. Let me put myself a bit further there. Really? Because it looks like a human is drowning, I guess.
I really thought it was a joke, but from the comments and the sheer volume of people that tagged me, I guess not. So yeah, they're not pretending to drown. But the truth might actually be worse. You see these tiny dots, these pits on the crocodile? Well, they're pressure sensors, and a microdose trypophobia means a prehistoric sawtooth sledgehammer can detect the smallest vibrations in the water. A butterfly can go skinny dipping, and the oversized assault gecko can pinpoint its exact location. In fact, it's scientifically proven. You could blindfold a crocodile in a sensory deprivation tank and drip a leaky faucet's worth of water. They'll know exactly where it's coming from. Their jaws are more sensitive than fingertips, and it's why you can get away with this until a drop of sweat hits their mouth and you get your melon split like Fruit Ninja. It's also why if you see this, be wary. That's a pre-typed obituary. In especially murky water, a crocodile will basically T-pose with a side of spirit fingers to maximize their sensitivity to any disturbances, and any fish in its hitbox gets filleted. So yeah, you got a plus-size sentient snare trap beast breathing like a Inosuke, but this armored demon's the only one slaying. So that could be what's happening here. Or maybe the croc caught a body and just won't let go. Or he could just be dead, but definitely not pretending to drown. I mean, that would imply that someone witnessed the same living plot armor that disregarded 2 extinctions in water and tried to be a hero, and apparently did it enough times for the crocs to catch on. And it's
all I learned from this is T-posing crocs. Yep. That's an interesting animal fact, but damn, I see.
not like crocs are stupid. Mugger crocodiles have been recorded using twigs and sticks to bait nest-building birds like egrets into getting close enough to get fouled. Some Cuban crocs have been trained to respond to commands and even come running when called by name. Oh yeah, they can run, by the way. Crocodiles have also been known to work as a team, where
the fact that someone calls them a name and they're running is kind of like cool. But also the fact that I know crocs can run, and the reason I know that is from Red Dead Redemption 2. Yep. I'm not sure which one's worse, the fact that I know it from a video game or the fact that I know that they run.
a researcher witnessed one scare a pig into a lagoon directly where 2 others were waiting. Hell, they even warn you in Australia to never camp or get water from the same place more than twice, because a croc will really recognize the pattern, memorize your routine, and then be right there to cancel your life subscription the next time. So
holy shit!
That's
smart.
Crocs aren't dumb, but sympathy baiting? That's a Bikram yoga stretch, and what surprised me the most was just how many articles reposted that video repeating it. Like, they
I mean, obviously clickbait works. Fear-mongering works. So, of course they wanted to get in on that.
really have people out here thinking reptiles unlock the power of manipulation. Now, to be fair, that might seem obvious to you, but to someone who doesn't yap about animals for a living, or, you know, watch them, seeing it in an article could be all it takes, and like a verbal virus, it doesn't take much for it to spread. So, for the sake of my
It reminds me of the pee on a jellyfish sting, right? Word of mouth kind of propagated that belief onto people. So, like, it's understandable that misinformation is very easy to spread because people don't take the time to actually do their due diligence on things. Yeah, it's exactly the same type of misinformation.
mental health, I'm working with ground news. Because if I have to argue with one more comment, I'm gonna lose something. My mom, my fans, my freedom, it might get critical. Ground News is an app and website made by a former NASA engineer who saw a very real problem with the way information can be used as a weapon and how news outlets often feed on folks' biases. And the thing is, if you think you can't be swayed by bias, then you're exactly the type of person to fall for it. Ground News counters that by gathering all the world's news in one place so you can compare coverage. No tunnel vision here. You get to see the entire picture and actually be informed. Like with the crocodile story. Here you can see it was covered by a modest 13 sources, and in terms of bias towards one side, there isn't really a whole lot to go off of. But here you can see none of the sources were marked as highly factual. In fact, the majority were quite the opposite. So you see, it's a quick way to know what's what without having a know
That's
it
interesting.
on the baseball cap.
I didn't know that
Another
about
recent
that
major event were the LA wildfires.
website.
Ground News, you can see it was reported by 214 sources, and in terms of bias, it broke pretty much even down the middle. But with bias comparison, you can see that left-leaning literature focused on it being possibly the most costly natural disaster in US history, and right headlines, they focus more on the long-term ramifications for people and businesses and what it could mean for different sides of the socioeconomic.
I'm gonna be honest and
with
say
the
this
blind
is
spot
actually
feature, you can see
fascinating.
news that one side may not have.
Like, I know this is a sponsor, right? But very interesting, especially because I'm not from the US, right? So seeing people talking in left and right and their entire existence being about left or right, and even your news source being like that is just like, wow, that's honestly interesting. It's fascinating.
Have reported at all. As a member of the Chronically Online, it's a pretty cool tool for me to have, and if you're watching this,
if you're like interested in this, go and use his link because it does help him. All right. I can give you the link to the video as well so that you can find it easier. Like, let me give it to you now. Copy video. Here you go. It should be in the description section.
probably are too. So if you use my link, you'll get 40% off the same top tier, less than $5 a month Vantage plan I'm using. Make sure you go to groundnews.com/casualgeo or scan the QR code on screen to subscribe. But until you do, I'll just tell you, they're not pretending to drown. They're smart, they're not that smart. Like I said, these stories only get airtime when people think a wild predator has the same thought process as a person. That's exactly how you get this. You know, to this day, I don't know where this
Otters show their babies when they're in danger to make the enemy feel mercy. The fuck?
came from. We're talking about otters. They're not exactly the emblem of empathy. Male sea otters will literally kidnap a pup while their mom's out hunting and hold it hostage until she gives up the groceries. Otters don't mercy farm. You know, if nature's taught us anything, it's that a family ferret's more likely to throw its child into the abyss than ever try something like this. I mean, just imagine a sea otter trying to emotionally guilt trip a giant apex dolphin. That's another thing. Everyone calls them killer whales, but orcas are bully dolphins on steroids, whose original handle was whale killer. Yeah, you probably heard me say this many times. Well, I was wrong, technically. Let me explain. But it will get complicated, so I'm gonna need you to lock in.
Okay.
After this ad, of course. So cetaceans are basically mammals that stole the fish's entire flow, not from fusing or merging, but from the evolution that's converging. There's two types of cetaceans, baleen whales, you know, the toothbrush bristles for teeth type, and toothed whales, for obvious reasons. Okay, now here's where it gets complicated. The toothed whale family reunion is massive. You got everything from your flipper paralysis demon, the false killer whale, to the virtually extinct vaquita. There's 10 families of toothed whales, and within these 10, there's a superfamily with 6 of them called Delphinoidea. Superfamily Delphinoidea is where you have your oceanic dolphins, porpoises, along with narwhals and belugas, because they're related for some reason. Cue the narluga.
Narwhals?
Also, notice I said oceanic dolphins. The dolphins that live in rivers are in a completely different party. But anyway, superfamily Delphinoidea is where you find the dolphins that, let's be real, are the ones you think of when you hear the word dolphin. And the biggest type of ocean dolphin is the one that can slapbox a seal into orbit. So to recap, any mammal that looks like this is a cetacean. Every cetacean with teeth is a toothed whale. A dolphin in the ocean is a toothed whale in the Delphinoidea family. And the biggest member of Delphinoidea is an orca. So long story short, killer whales are dolphins. Every dolphin is a toothed whale, but not every toothed whale is a dolphin. But every toothed whale is a cetacean. It's kind of like how every tortoise is a turtle, but not every turtle is a tortoise. So to answer, are orcas whales or dolphins? Yes. They are. By the way, let me know if you want a full video on that, because that was probably mad confusing. Because
I feel like we do need a video on it just because I'm curious, but fascinating.
Being an animal nerd long enough is realizing names really don't mean a thing. Except here, Black Panther is not an animal. You might be tired of hearing it. Well, I'm tired of saying it. When I say not an animal, I mean, if you go to a zoo and try to find the exhibit that says Black Panther, you won't find it. Because you're not gonna find it. Description. It's a panther that's black. And remember, panther is just any cat in the Panthera genus. So any lion, tiger, jaguar, leopard, or snow leopard in black could be a black panther.
The snow
but because the
leopards are
mutation
so
that
cute.
causes it is dominant in jaguars but recessive in leopards, most black panthers are just jaguars with 10% tint. But Black Panther itself isn't an actual animal. That'd be like if we called every black wolf, fox, or coyote a black canine.
I mean, do I need to mention, chat? Do I need to mention how many people think I am a bloody fox? Just because because I have a fluffy tail, they think I'm a fox. Like, look at this. It's fluffy. It's fluffy. You're not a fox. I'm not a fox and I'm not a dog. And why? Oops. There we go. I fixed it. Sorry. it was bugging out. You're sly like one. Oh, thank you. I'm a wolf. Get it right. To be fair, I have a coin for my 2.0 that says I'm a fox in denial, just because you guys are literally saying I'm a fox so often that I'm not even sure if I'm a wolf anymore. I've been successfully gaslit into doubting my own origin.
But then acted like black canine was its own thing. It's not real. And you know what else? Alpha wolves are not real, I swear to actually they are. They are real. But only
they are
when you
actually
put a bunch
real.
of wolves that don't know each other in a zoo and they have to figure out stuff on their own. That's actually what happened. In the 1930s, Rudolf Schenkel studied wolves in a zoo, and after watching more fights in face in a telenovela, he just figured that wolves determine group politics by tearing each other apart. Biologist David Mech built off his work and came up with the term alpha wolf. What they didn't realize was that the wolves were fighting over resources, not rank, and by putting a bunch of randoms in one place, they basically created real house wolves of Switzerland. In real life, a wolf pack is usually just two parents and a bunch of their kids. What folks kept calling the alpha wolf whole time was just their father. Now, because I've done this before, I know someone's gonna comment, well, if they're the lead wolf, they're still the alpha. The problem is, the whole alpha thing implies that the lead wolves got there by beating the others like a Cherokee drum. Really, it's just seniority.
I love
another
wolves.
thing I never thought about until right now is once the kids get to about 1 or 2 years old, they dip and try to form their own pack. In a zoo, you often get the same adult wolves around each other constantly, and like any reality show, eventually that leads to tension that wouldn't be there in a normal pack. So normally, you wouldn't see any alpha wolves in the wild, and the same guy that came up with that would spend the rest of his career trying to keep
the
back.
queen
And
wolf.
this is a final
I'm just a wolf. I'm not royalty. I'm just a wolf. I'm a down-to-earth wolf, okay?
middle finger to anyone that still wants
Look
to
at those
argue when the term alpha male was
cuties. I love wolfies. They're so adorable.
first used academically in 1921. It was by zoologist Thorleif Sheldrup Ebbe, and he was referring to, I'm not even kidding. He was talking about the hierarchy where lower status poultry will get pecked on by higher ranks. That's literally where pecking order came from. So the next time a man tries you with that alpha male just know he's taking cues from a temperamental chicken nugget. Also, chickens are confirmed psychopaths. If one chicken starts bleeding, the whole flock will jump in and peck it to death. I think the worst thing is that people took the alpha dog thing and got convinced that's how you make your actual dog respect you. Cesar Millan has done an absolute masterclass of misinformation on the dog community.
The heck?
You really got folks thinking you gotta flex on an 80-pound pit bull to keep him in line. Imagine trying to play alpha with
What? People think that? Okay.
Cujo on creatine. We've gotten a lot wrong about dogs, and probably the worst thing, that a tail wagging means happy. That fact alone has probably gotten more people bit than anything. Basically, a tail wag means excitement. Excitement can mean seeing their person come home, or it can mean fear, anxiety, or the last warning before they put a canine-sized hole in your hand. And the faster the tail, the more excited Fido is. The question is, what kind? Well, science says a tail favoring the right means the vibes are good, but a tail leaning left could mean stress, so best to be left. Alone, that is a lot more complicated than I just made it sound, but long story short, a tail wag is like a smile. A smile can mean someone's happy to see you, or might even think you're cute, or that waitress is just doing her job and doesn't want to get hit on at work.
Oh man. Honestly though, it's like when someone smiles at you and you automatically assume they like you like that. Touche. Yeah, what does my tail wag mean, chat?
Long story short, if you expect your dog to learn how to parlay people, then the least you can do is talk tail. Oh, another dog thing that's been bothering me for years is that Chihuahuas are the spawn of Shaitan. Now, I get the little dog thing. I've been personally victimized by many an ankle biter. But with dogs, there's
Really?
usually a why. You just gotta look deep enough. Huskies are known
I've
to
never
be
had a
donkey
Chihuahua
stubborn
bite
toppers
me.
on four.
Come inside.
Oh,
But Huskies were also
huskies.
bred as sled dogs, and not only would they have to be independent and make decisions in a dangerous work environment, sometimes they'd have to be willing to go against orders if those orders went against their better judgment. It's actually called intelligent disobedience, and for football fans, it's basically an audible. It's pretty important, because, you know, if Russell Wilson had it, maybe he would have ran the ball. Beagles are basically walking instruments, but they were bred to hunt rabbits in thick brush, and that same baying keeping you up at 2 a.m. is how they communicate with hunters. So why are chihuahuas like that? You know, I don't even think it's a chihuahua thing more than a little dog thing, but I have my theories. A lot of times, chihuahuas don't get socialized with other dogs early on, so the first time they see a big
Poor
dog, which like
chihuahuas.
any dog to them is a big dog, it probably scares the daylights out of them. Also, I think a bigger thing is owners be letting a lot of bad habits slide just
What
because
the
they're travel
fuck?
size. So eventually it escalates. Let it be a Doberman and suddenly they'll know discipline. Actually, that's my biggest thing. A lot of owners won't correct bad behavior when it comes from a Chihuahuano. In fact, I've seen a lot of y'all encourage it. I've always said if a Rottweiler
Dude,
acted like
what
a
the
Chihuahua for a
heck?
day, he'd be dead by dinner. Also, often what looks like aggression might just be fear, and if your dog tells you he's afraid and you don't listen because you think it's cute, but that's how you end up with the dog version of David.
That is so fucked up. Like, a lot of those clips, I'm like, what are people doing, man? Like, you can see it in their eyes.
Size might be part of it too, but it probably has less to do with it than people think. Long story short, if I see a kid wilding in Walmart, I'm gonna look at the parents. And likewise, I'm gonna blame the dog owner before I blame the dog. No clever transition, but another thing I've heard is that male lions don't hunt, or better yet, that male lions are lazy. And I can tell you exactly where it came from. You see, lionesses use the power of friendship to run down prey in open areas. It's pretty hard to miss. Lions are bigger, bulkier, and with a whole afro equipped, they had to switch up the playbook. So instead, male lions ambush prey by camping out in dense brush. Research shows that male lions pack up prey as frequently as females. It's just that in the olden days, you'd probably never see it. Also, before male lions even get a pride, they're in their nomad arc. Oh, they'd be lying on the ground permanently if they didn't hunt. Now, to be fair, male lions do stop hunting as much when they're in a pride, but not completely. They'll often get involved to bring down bigger, riskier prey like buffalo that lionesses might struggle with. Basically, the lionesses run them down and the main mercenary
So basically, they're helping.
Now, they do only get involved about 10% of the time, but it's not because they're lazy. They just have a different job description. Male lions patrol the pride lands.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna use too next time someone says I'm lazy. No, I just have a different job description. I'm gonna take that and add it to my playbook.
Mark their territory, and as you know, they gotta run the ones with any outsider trying to take his place. What you might not realize is, as good at hunting lionesses are, in some studies they got up to half their kills stolen by hyenas, or even other males. Having a nearly 500-pound equalizer on their side helps them keep what they catch. It's not lazy, it's just that lions and lionesses help cover each other's weaknesses perfectly, and clearly it works. They're the most notorious and feared pack predators in Africa. Or maybe second. Because there's one predator that animals fear even more than Mufasa and friends, and you'll never get it. It's us. It's us. You might
You'll never. It's us. Yeah, I mean, makes sense.
remember that an experiment showed that almost every animal from giraffes to antelope to even leopards and hyenas were unanimously more afraid of the sound of humans than the cadence of a giant carnivorous cat. Which is how, to this day, I still don't understand how this went viral. Or at least
Elephants brain react to humans the same way the human brain react to puppies they think we're cute. No, they don't. Who the fuck wrote that, man?
I didn't. Because not only did I find out where it came from, I think I was wrong. Kind of. Technically. Let me explain. So, in 2017, college student Julia Haas posted a tweet saying elephants basically see us the same way we see puppies. Now, ignoring the part of the population that's terrified of dogs, the fact loses steam when you realize she got it from Tumblr. It's more likely that one of the smartest creatures alive see us as predators, but not their babies. Remember, it's proven that baby elephants that play the most grow up into more well-adjusted adults. It's why you'll see a baby-faced boulder chase around birds, dogs, and anything in between. So here's what I think happened. Baby elephants will treat humans like any other animal. Difference is, humans might be the only animal that'll see an 1,800-pound toddler barreling towards them and welcome it. In fact, immature pachyderms probably realize that a hairless bipedal ape gives them the best response. So it's not really that elephants think we're cute, it's that baby elephants think everything's cute. Us included. And I'd bet that's where all the videos of 1-ton 2-year-olds manhandling people came from, and I wouldn't even believe that if I didn't nearly become one of them. Yeah, I went all the way to Chiang Mai to get bullied by an elephant's child. And I'd do it again. I actually made a video where I talk about it, along with why playing with one could be a bad time for literally everyone.
I want to watch that video
now. You might not
now.
have seen it because apparently the YouTube lords did not care for that video.
Yeah, I actually did not see that video. But then again, I haven't seen a lot of his videos because I'm fairly new to the channel. But still, I'm gonna check that one out as well. I do have a vague feeling why the YouTube didn't see it is because Christmas is in the title. I've noticed whenever I have Christmas in my title, people don't click on it, and it's not being shown to others from the YouTube algo. I don't know what the heck about the word Christmas is like so bad, but I guess Mariah Carey did a number on a lot of people.
Probably because I talked about certain topics. If you know, you know, but if you don't, definitely give it a watch. I don't usually plug after I post, but I'm proud of that one. But that's gonna do it for this video. Make sure you drink water, hug your mother, touch grass. It's good for you. And I'm gonna see y'all in, well, hopefully in this one, but if not, I'll see y'all in the next one.
Oh, that was a cool video. I like a lot of different. I learned a lot of different things from this video, and I liked a lot of different reasonings as to why we should have left them in 2024. I think the biggest one was the one with the lion, though. I have a different job description. I like that one so much. Yeah, his videos are really nice. It's very interesting, and I get to learn a lot, which is why I enjoy watching them. So whenever someone's like, hey, Paws, you should react to this one. I'm like, hey, let's go. Because they're very informative, and I appreciate that. I appreciate the time he puts into them in like actually correcting misinformation and showing a lot of weird things on the internet. Yeah, like I never knew about dolphins, child, or hyenas. Some things are fascinating and at the same time, what the actual fuck, you know? Anyway, YouTube, if you made it this far, I appreciate you. Thank you for that. Liking, commenting, and subscribing does help me, and it makes the algorithm like my channel more, and I would appreciate it if you would take the time for that. And if you have nothing to say, then say elephant. Bye, YouTube.